Today we're going to be making No More Box Brownies, and this is a Robart family recipe that we've created by tweaking other recipes over the years. And I make these brownies cake-like, but you can also make them chewy by doing it for fewer minutes, so whatever works for you. Today I'm going to be using several Pampered Chef tools, and if you're interested in owning any of them, you can go to my blog, mombylove.blogspot.com, and find my sister's contact information, shawk752@gmail.com. So that's if you want some Pampered Chef supplies. I'll also be using my trusty Cuisinart 7-speed mixer. This is the third one I've bought because I keep burning them up on every project I can think of. I use it instead of my huge stand mixer when it's easier. But if you keep buying the same mixer, then you have more of the same blades, and that way you don't have to clean them every time when you're switching between multiple projects. So anyway, today we're going to start by adding 2 sticks of butter, which have already been melted, to the 2 cups of sugar that I just put in here. And the idea with the butter is that you don't want to substitute with margarine, and you do need to make sure that it's at least partially melted. There are only 2 liquids in this recipe, the eggs, 4 eggs, and the 2 sticks of butter. So if it's not already melted, it's not going to mix up the same way. But it's important to not skimp on that step. When I'm telling people about these brownies, I often tell them that there's more sugar than flour in these brownies. That's true, and it does not make them low fat, low sugar, in any way healthy or anything like that. So the 4 eggs have been added here, and it's important to beat this until it's a light color and fluffy. I'll show you intermittently between so that you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to start by mixing it up until you can tell that everything's broken up. But then we're going to turn this puppy up and get crazy. Okay, you'll notice now that that is a nice fluffy texture instead of the creamy or liquid texture that we would have had if we had not beaten it so hard and so fast. And now we're going to add the remaining ingredients. I use a 3/4 cup measure for my flour because it calls for a 1.5 cups, and I don't want to get out a cup measure and a 1/2 cup measure. And today I'm using whole wheat pastry flour. It's a little healthier for my family since I am throwing real butter and 2 cups of sugar at them, but it does not have the heavy weight of whole wheat flour. And then the 1/2 cup of cocoa. I get my cocoa up at the Amish country in northern Missouri. It makes it pretty fine and amazing. We're going to do a dash of salt, which obviously we don't measure, and a teaspoon of vanilla, which I also don't measure. I just kind of do a glop. So if that works for you, that would be great. And then we're going to do a handful of chocolate chips, up to a cup, and whatever you're in the mood for that day will work for you. I'm going to have a fight with my papers here for just a second to make sure I tell you everything that I need to tell you. And we're going to mix all this up, and I'll tell you that this recipe is the one my kids request most frequently. It's not a recipe they want, it's the item that they want. So they want me to make their brownies every time they're in town. I do have 6 kids who live out of town, so it's fun to do special things for them. And probably I have at least one son-in-law who's drooling if he's watching this video, right, Carlos? Shout out to my Panamanian. So I'm going to mix this up again. And if you can do it by hand, that's great. It's not a problem. But I prefer to use my blender because I'm a wimp. So my trusty Cuisinart has everything all mixed up. And again, because there's not a lot of liquid in this recipe, you will not have a recipe that can be poured. It's going to be, it's just going to be something that you'll have to glop. Okay? So we'll be pouring that into a prepared 9x13 pan that's been greased. And this is the consistency of the batter when you get it all mixed up. And then the final product that I made earlier today is I made these in 2 8x8s. You can make it in 2 8x8s, in 24 muffin pans. I would suggest silicone, not a metal muffin pan. Or you can also use, obviously, the 9x13 that I'll be doing today. I also add some buttercream frosting, fudge buttercream frosting, and that's what my son-in-law is drooling about in Panama right now, if he's watching. And there are just a lot of different things you can do with this. This is the finished product, and they're amazing with any flavor of ice cream, obviously, or as a sweet finish to your packed lunch. So enjoy, and please go to my blog at mombylove.blogspot.com for more information. And you can also get information for Sarah's Papered Chef at shawk752@gmail.com. And then if you want information for the Cuisinart, that's available on my blog as well. Again, Rachel Robart, mombylove.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching today, and I'd love to hear what you thought of these, or if you make them, I'd love to know what your family thinks. Thanks. Bye.